Good morning, everybody. We are back to Big Men on Campus, and we are live. NFL Week 12 preview. My name is Jeff. They call me the Big Men on Campus here with my co-host, Ryan D'Amico. Ryan, Thanksgiving is past us. Black Friday's past us. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. Yeah, it was good. It was kind of subdued. I kind of told people that this was probably the most just calm Thanksgiving. It was just myself and my parents, but which I was fine with, because in another month Christmas will be here and it'll be all hectic with family and whatnot. So it was kind of nice for it to just be us and just be a normal day. But it was nice. Yeah.
Ryan, you're not a guy with a lot of energy. I will give you that. It's Sunday. Wake up.
What does that mean?
Get going. Get your coffee in you. Come on. It's exciting. It's NFL Week 12 and it's upon us. How you doing today? You're not very energetic ever. That's a good goal for Arsenal.
Yeah,
Let's take the lead, baby.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to do, but
you just don't have much energy.
This is just me.
Wake up! Come on.
You asked me a question. I answered it. I don't know
what
you want me to do, dude.
Your favorite sport. It's NFL Week 12. We're back. Last 4 weeks, we've been doing very good on the show here. 28-15. That's all for free. Not charging anything for that. If you've bet $100 on all of our plays with juice, you're up $1,150. So that could, if you're a young man like myself or you, that could pay for all your Christmas presents.
Yep, for sure.
Even if you have some kids, that could pay for
and some.
So you can knock us for what we're doing, but this is all for free, and we're doing this. How much stuff have we given over the years for free, Ryan?
Yeah.
Remember that baseball we were on last year? Yeah. All for free.
Right.
We do a college football show every week.
This is what we do.
Ryan, not to talk about college because we'll do that a little bit later, but we gave out 2 overs yesterday. Mm-hmm. One was the highest scoring game ever in the college football.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and the other one was a game where Navy scored 75 points.
Yeah.
So, what were the other 2 games we gave out?
I gave out Washington State. That was easy loser.
We had 2 winners, 2 losers.
Yeah. So.
But both of those sides I thought were good. Texas, Washington State. But either way, NFL speaks for itself. If you're listening into these shows, you're making money.
Yep.
Again, we give every game. We give an opinion on every game. So let's jump into it here, Ryan. And shout out to everyone out there listening. We are sponsored by C2CSportsFirm.com. Tim, the guy over there, doing a great job. We have a great thing going, Ryan. Doing very good in the college basketball. Sean had a couple free winners. Sean gave out some free winners last night. Vanderbilt on the money line.
Yeah, that was a good
New
call.
Mexico on the money line. Giving them out for free. We're not charging for this. What do you have to say about this? Yeah. So thanks to everyone listening. If you're out there, feel free to interact with us, whether it's on Twitter. You can jump on the chat box live on the Spreaker app. That's for free. You don't have to pay for that. So get on, chat with us, see what's hitting for. Let's jump into it here, Ryan. 1 o'clock Eastern. We got a lot of games today. Who was on a bye? I'm trying to think who would be on a bye this week. Well, you had a couple games on Thursday.
Not sure. We had 3 games Thursday.
You had the Cowboys beat the Redskins. You had the Lions beat the Vikings, and you had Pittsburgh beat Indianapolis. So I probably should get that before the show, but either way, let's jump into it here. First game on the card, and if you're out there, we do go over every game. You don't have to ask us if we're going to do a certain game. First one, San Diego Chargers, -2.5 at Houston, over under 46.5. Chargers off a bye. But before that bye, Phillip Rivers did not have a good game. 4 interceptions against Miami in Week 10. He's been inconsistent this year, Ryan. And whether it be from a lack of weapons, whether it be from inconsistency throwing the football, he's not had a lot to throw to. Really. I think his top receiver is like Tyrell Williams or something.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin or Travis Benjamin.
Yeah, just total nothing, really.
He forces things, and that's just the way he is. So he's going to have interceptions. He's going to throw touchdowns, plus he's going to throw interceptions. That's just the quarterback he is. He's a gunslinger.
And if you look at the markets, the public has been betting the San Diego Chargers here. Lined open Houston -1. It's been bet all the way up to San Diego -2.5. Markets are not liking Houston in this spot, and I'm not really sure why. Houston's 5-0 at home this year. San Diego's 1-4 on the road straight up. They've had a tough time right on the road. They've lost 4 or 5. And you look at Houston. They're 4th in the league in passing defense. giving up just 16.4 points a game at home. Like I said, very good against the pass. And Rivers, like you said, he's been inconsistent. Houston should be able to slow him down at least through the passing game. And you look at San Diego's defense. Ryan, if there's a defense that you would say would be reliable, it wouldn't be San Diego's. They haven't actually been reliable against the pass or against the run. Clearly you have a running back, Melvin Gordon to maybe look out for, but Houston's been pretty good on defense. I know you're not as high on Brock Osweiler as some, but he's got some weapons around him. They're at home where they played well, and they're well coached. I like Houston in this spot. I really do. I think this is a good play. Houston, until they lose at home, I'm not, or until they look bad at home, I'm not ready to stop backing them here. And they're a dog, so I'm going to go Houston.
Yeah, Houston traditionally has been good at home and cover at home. So I think that's obviously the X factor here, and the fact that they're getting points is kind of all you need to know. That's kind of the way I would lean is Houston. I do kind of worry just because Houston, as of late, over the last month or so, has been really bad in the fourth quarter. So I really hope it's not one of those games where Houston's, up 4 going into the fourth quarter and let it squander and they lose by 3 or 4. Because, in the fourth quarter over the last month, they've been outscored 41-9. So that's a little troublesome. But I'll kind of rely on the defense. They're 12th in scoring defense, 5th in overall defense. So San Diego, look, I know they're coming off a bye, but I think I'm not sure they're the right side to be getting steam. They're 4-6. They themselves find ways to just give away games as well. So I guess it's basically going to come down to what team's going to give away this game because the Texans have been doing it, like I mentioned in the fourth quarter number, and San Diego's been doing it all year, just having the games there to win and not closing the door. So I'll side with Houston just for the fact that mainly they're a home dog, and home dogs in NFL more times than not seem to bark. So
especially when the home team is a better team. I think Houston's a better team than San Diego. I don't think anyone will disagree there. And they've been very good at home. So I'll go Houston plus the 2.5. You probably would be wise to buy up to 3, but they should win this game. So that would be my edge here. 1 o'clock Eastern, Tennessee Titans -6 against the Chicago Bears, over under 42. Jay Cutler in, Ryan. That means only one thing. Matt Barkley starts today for the Chicago Bears. Matt Barkley has never started a game in the NFL. He's made 5 appearances, Ryan. In those 5 appearances, Matt Barkley's thrown 6 interceptions. How Matt Barkley's a quarterback in the NFL, I'll never know. Yeah. I just don't see it. Probably one of the worst. He's a third stringer, so probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the league for good reason. Look, if there was like a developmental league in the NFL, Matt Barkley would probably be in it. He is not a guy that I think is ready to.
He draws a pretty good card today, though.
I disagree. I think
Tennessee pretty poor through the air.
Yeah, but I still think Tennessee's a way, again, a better team. I don't think Matt Barkley can really beat anyone. I don't care who it is. These are NFL caliber players at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, Ryan, I think you're right on the passing aspect. But Tennessee's been pretty good against the run, giving up just 92 yards per game, good for 11th in the league. Jordan Howard's been hot, so that's obviously a good point by you. Look, if Matt Barkley's not going to beat you, have to shut down the run, and I think Tennessee could do that. The road team's covered 5 in a row in this series. Bears 3-7 against the spread this year. Over their last 20 games at home, they've covered just 7 of those. And this offense, without Barkley, has struggled, Ryan. 15.7 points a game. Tennessee's been hot offensively. Mariota has had a really good year, been very effective. 9 touchdowns in 3 games. And I know last week, Ryan, they lost to the Colts, which, if we know anything, we know the Colts have owned the Titans over the years. But I liked the fact that Tennessee, they were in that game at the end. They didn't hang their heads down 21-0. They came back. They fought back. Could have won that game. I know they didn't. But, for a young team like Tennessee, that's impressive. DeMarco Murray's been good. You look at the Bears. They got a ton of people out. I know in the defensive end as well. This one looks too easy, and that's my concern here. And that's why it'd be hard for me to play this one at -6. I'm going to give it out just because it's 6. Couple the fact with this looks too easy. Expect the unexpected in the NFL. And Ryan, we've talked about it over the years. Tennessee's inability to cover the spread.
Exactly.
They're 11-30 over the last 3 years against the spread. It's hard for me to get in love with that, and it's hard for me to look at this game and say I love Tennessee because I do. They should roll by double digits, but the NFL has proved over the years that in these spots, the unexpected happens. So with bated breath, free pick, I'll give out Tennessee, but I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of a game earlier in the year where Detroit was kind of clicking early in the year, and they went to Chicago and offensively couldn't do anything for whatever reason. Stafford looked lost. They ended up losing the game, and linebackers don't cover, and the Lions lose outright. Not saying Tennessee's going to lose outright here. I just think there's a lot of variables, and I'll be honest with you, Jeff. I don't think this line looks too easy at all. I think the line's a little high-ish, but if it was me, I would have put this game around 4, not 6, 6.5, but that's just me. But with Tennessee, compared to the Chicago in this game, so many variables just pointing in Tennessee's favor. One, they have a ton more to play for. I mean, Tennessee really can't afford to slip up the rest of the way. They really need to kind of run the table, go 5-0, or maybe lose one game and maybe slip in as a wild card at 9-7, maybe. Just if they get lucky, but they really can't afford to slip up. So they need to play their best game of the year. You touched on the injuries for Chicago. Obviously, Jay Cutler's out. Leonard Floyd, who got a concussion last week, he's out. Josh Sitton, offensive guard, he's out again. So just a lot of injuries kind of piling up for Chicago, and Tennessee is actually all year been one of the more healthier teams in the NFL. So, and the way Mariota's playing, I'm just really not sure I can back Chicago here with Barkley. I know, and like I pointed out, Tennessee bad defensively through the air, but I'm not sure that Matt Barkley can exploit that, and especially without Alshon Jeffrey. Let's remember he's still out facing his suspension, so it's like I'm not sure where the production's going to come from. So I like Tennessee. I know they don't cover, but I think this is a spot where they really should cover.
I mean that was my point. Listen, other than the Browns right now, I think Chicago's the worst team in the NFL. I mean, really, right now with the current team they have nothing. They have no one. Nope. They have no one I'm concerned about. The fact that Jordan Howard is playing well, but Tennessee good against the run, this looks too easy. I mean, it really does. And that's my concern. But like you said, Ryan, it should be a double-digit victory for Tennessee.
Yeah.
1 o'clock Eastern, Bills -9 against the Jags, over under 45. Markets are betting the Bills. Bills are moving. Last night, Ryan, when I did these, look, I do these breakdowns around 1 o'clock Eastern. Bills were -7.5. People betting the Bills here with the news of Sammy Watkins active today. Going to be on a snap count, but again, he's active.
Yep.
LaShawn McCoy's in there. So people are getting excited with the Bills at home here. Both these teams have been high scoring, both 2-over teams. I think both these teams are like 7-3 and 8-2 against the spread over the total this year. So if you're looking over at 45, it might be worth a good look. Both defenses have struggled. I mean, Jags have given up 27 points a game. Concern with the over here, though, is Jacksonville's had issues scoring. Ryan, they've scored 19 points or fewer 6 times this year. They're just kind of that team that scores like 20 points, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Bortles leads the NFL with 13 interceptions. And now you're facing, for Jags defense that has struggled, the best rushing offense in the NFL. And yet an added piece with, I don't know if Sammy Watkins will be that effective today, but he adds a matchup that you have to prepare for. And no one really knew much that he was going to play this week until recently. You got to add to him down the field. I know they don't throw the ball. They throw the ball the least in the NFL, but you look at what McCoy's done. Tyrod Taylor's been effective. I'm not in love with this game, but I'm going to go with the Bills at home. Honestly, I think at home, I think they're worth the play. I'm going to make this a point. I'm not betting on this game. I think it's one of the toughest games of the day, but I'm just not interested in the Jags. I think for whatever reason, I think this is a 27-17 type of game. I think the number gets to 10, and this could be real close. But I don't see a reason to back Jacksonville here. I just don't.
Well, all of Jacksonville's games, with the exception of 2 of them, have been by 7 points or less. So there's a stat for you.
Sure.
They're 2-8 on the season, but the majority of their games are close. And
this is a tough game.
And a lot of their games lately have been close. I mean, the last 3 weeks decided by 5, 3, and 7. So I don't know. I kind of like Jacksonville here. I'm not a big Buffalo guy. They're 5-5. They're average. I'm not sure they should be laying this kind of number to anyone, really. They're too up and down for me to lay a number like this. Buffalo I'm talking about. Like they'll come out and pound the team like the Rams or the Niners, teams like that. But then they go to Miami and lay a goose egg.
But Ryan, I mean, you mentioned the Rams and the Niners. Are Jacksonville, that's kind of their level.
I hear you, but Jacksonville playing close games, and that's kind of what I look at. Jacksonville, they don't win the games, but they're close. So
I have no problem splitting this one because I'm not in love with Buffalo.
That's the way I would lean Jacksonville. But
okay, so we both like the opposite side. So if you're new to the show, that one's just going to cancel out. It's not going to count on our plays because
it's a pretty shit game though.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
unless this one, this one's going to fall as a push either way.
It's funny because whenever this happens to us, like
the game sucks.
That or Buffalo will cover, and Jeff will be like, "Man, you should have listened to me." Or the Jags will win, and I'll be like, "Dude, Jeff, should have fucking listened to me." So like, it's comical.
This is a tough one. I really think on all aspects, I think 9 is kind of a decent. I think it's a good number for the game because I could see this one like as a 10-point game and maybe a late touchdown or something. But I think the total's pretty strong. I could see, like I said, 28-17, 27-7, something like that. Where it's like right near the number.
Right.
This is a tough game. This is what makes the NFL difficult. So if I were you,
but those are the games you stay away from.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And
we're covering them because we cover every game.
Right.
This is a game that if you're breaking down a card, this is a game you just kind of scan over.
And put it this way: if we didn't break down every game, I would have zero interest in talking, watching, doing anything with this game. There's a lot of good options for money lines out there. Parlay options aplenty, says Jordan. Yeah, agreed. I don't think in this one, I'm not sure that the Jags are a live dog in this game, but I don't know. Let's avoid. 1:00 Eastern, Baltimore Ravens -3 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Over under 40.5 or 41. Giovanni Bernard out, A.J. Green out. Dalton, we saw it without A.J. Green. Andy Dalton struggles. I mean, he just does. No security blanket. Look, I know Tyler Eifert's a good tight end and all, but you need that downfield threat, and they don't have that. No Mohamed Sanu anymore. Marvin Jones is gone. They just don't have that right now. And this Bengals team's bad. I mean, they're not playing well. What's their record? 3-8, I think.
Nah, they're better than that. They are
4-7.
The Bengals are sitting at 3-6-1.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so bad. They have 3 wins.
Yeah, they're not very good.
They're 2-7 against the spread this year, and now they got to go face the best defense in the NFL, who's giving up 14 points a game at home. Let me say that again. Baltimore giving up 14 points a game at home. Bengals defensively on the road have struggled, giving up 26 points a game. This total's low. I do think there's a lot of long drives. It's low scoring. I think Baltimore will lean on the run. The concern here for me with Baltimore is, can their offense score? I mean, they played pretty well last week against Dallas, but they just didn't do enough to win that game. You're facing a Baltimore or a Bengals team that's just kind of, I mean, they're lost really. I think the Bengals will struggle to score in this game. I think the totals. I wish the total was like 42-43. I would probably go under, but I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I'm just not interested in the Bengals. So basically, you're telling me at -3 that this is a coin flip. I'm not.
They're basically
sure.
saying exactly. That's basically what they're saying. Is they're getting 3 points because they're at home. Which,
the Ravens are that good defensively that I'm okay with backing them just because
I think
they're
this
good
is I think this is a great line personally. I think this is
well. The numbers bet down. It was 4 last night.
Which I would have bet this game at 4 personally. I like the Ravens here. They're coming off a loss. They're coming off a game last week against Dallas where. They got up early in that game.
Should have won, really. Could have won.
Yeah, it was there for a while, and they didn't make enough plays offensively. Now they get to come back home, and take on a really just like I said weeks ago that Cincinnati is just not good. Really, I mean they were underachieving, and I don't think that's I don't think it's coincidence. They're just bad. Now they don't have two of their best playmakers in Green and Bernard. I mean Jeremy Hill has to shoulder the load. He's not going to get spell, which he's used to. Brandon LaFell is going to now kind of take over, I guess, as the number one option, which he's not a number one receiver, I don't feel like, in this league. So it'll be interesting to see. I just don't see a way Bengals hang around in this game. Historically, over the years, the Bengals have success over Baltimore, but Ravens second in the NFL, allowing less than 300 yards per game. Elvis Dumervil, I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything, but Dumervil might be back today. Obviously, they're still about an hour and a half from game time. Haven't seen anything yet, so keep an eye on him if this is a game you're interested in, because that would be a big boost to this Ravens defense. Another pass rusher that can get after Dalton. So, really, you shut down Tyler Eifert in this game and stack up their running game, which the Ravens should be able to do because they're that good stopping the run. Back at home, off a loss, I like Baltimore here. I do. The Bengals season is just going downhill. It's spiraling out of control, and now you're losing two of your best players. It's just not looking good for Cincinnati.
Ravens have yet to allow a touchdown to a tight end, an opposing tight end this year, and tight ends are gaining just 35 yards on average per game. So Eifert may be taken out of the game. So then what do you have?
Yep.
You really are going to struggle here.
Bengals 1-4 on the road.
You're starting to see glimpses of the Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Haloti Ngata, Terrell Suggs. You're starting to see signs of that defense again. What do they call that defense down there? I'm trying to remember. I forget.
Good? I'm not sure they called it anything, but yeah.
But that's what you get with Baltimore. Tough-nosed defense.
Yep.
Not going to score a lot of points. Under might be worth a good play here, honestly.
Yeah.
I can see the under.
Ravens have struggled to score, and that's kind of the only thing that kind of worries me about this game is if similar games to where teams just don't pull away and they let the opposition hang around and then weird shit happens. So that kind of worries me a little bit, but I still like it.
I've said this for the last 3 or 4 years. I would be blown away if Marvin Lewis is back. I would really be blown away if he's back next year. I just don't see it. I can't. I can't understand how you could warrant an.
He is just like Andy Reid. It's time to just
move on.
It's time to move on.
I said that 2 years ago.
They need a change, and they've needed a change.
Ryan, we did a podcast years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, called The Other Guys. It was just we put it on Facebook and it was just about sports. We just talked about sports. I remember back then we would talk about how it's time to move on.
Don't get it.
And they don't get it. He somehow gets them to the playoffs and they lose in the first game.
And then they give him a contract extension. It's like, what sense does that make?
And you look at whoever runs the Bengals. I don't know who it is, but it's time to wake up.
It's funny because they've actually, if you look at the Bengals roster, they have talent. Dalton's not a blow-you-away quarterback, but he's good enough, I feel like, to win with A.J. Green and Tyler Eifert and Bernard and Hill on offense. And then defensively, they had some pretty good players that are kind of getting out of their prime with Leon Hall and Ray Malaluga and all them guys that are just kind of getting older and have since went on to different teams.
But
they've in my opinion, they've wasted their window. That window is closing and closing.
But what
fast.
they'll say is, well, we've been riddled with injuries this year, so we'll be back next year.
Injuries happen in sports, and
Ravens worth the play here, if you ask me. At -3, I think it's a good line. We both agree. Next one, Falcons -4 against the Cardinals. Over/under is 50. Atlanta off a bye, but Atlanta's a favorite, Ryan. You know what that means. Over the last 20 games as a favorite, Atlanta is 4-16 against the spread.
Yep.
They can't cover as a favorite. They just aren't doing it. Over might be a good play here. 8-2 to the over is Atlanta this year. All 4 road games for the Cardinals have gone over this year. And you look at these numbers. Arizona giving up 29 points a game on the road. Atlanta giving up 32 points a game at home. But kind of an interesting clash of styles. Big offense here for Atlanta against the best pass defense in the league. The point I want to make here is, and we can say, we all know Atlanta. They're getting Tevin Coleman back. Can we agree they're the best offense in the league? Would you agree with that? Maybe other than New England?
I guess you'd have to say yes at this point. They put up staggering numbers, seemingly week after week. So
yeah, but Arizona, they've allowed 7 passing touchdowns through 12 weeks.
I know.
That's
remarkable.
That's pretty impressive. The interesting point, though, and I want to make this, and I'm just getting the number up here. Arizona's at 4-5. Take a listen to who they played this year as far as against the pass. The Patriots without Tom Brady.
Yep, and they lost.
The Bucks, the Bills, the Rams, the 49ers, the Jets, the Panthers, who they lost by 10.
Yeah.
The 49ers and the Vikings.
Yeah.
Can you find an elite passing offense at all anywhere there?
You can't.
I can't.
And that's why
I'm lost
at finding. That's why you have to look at that, and that's why those numbers you really have to look at, because remember, like we talked earlier in the year about Green Bay's rush defense,
Correct.
how it was so good because they played nobody.
They're skewed.
I mean, so
look, I will point out though, Matthew.
They do have a good secondary.
Yeah, right.
It's not like it's a fluke because of the players they have,
and they're playing who they can. I'm just interested to see the team that how they faced against this kind of team. But the issue with the Cardinals is sometimes they look real good, and sometimes they look real bad.
It comes down to Carson Palmer. When Palmer plays well, they play well. When he plays poor, it's a shit show. So it comes down to Carson Palmer. How will he play today?
I think today he will have a good game against a bad defense. Atlanta's bad defense.
And Desmond Trufant is since out for the year. He wasn't going to probably play today anyway, but they announced that starting cornerback Desmond Trufant, he's out for the year. There's another guy out there that's not going to be able to go.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I am not interested in Atlanta as a favorite. I'm just not. They don't cover. They're 4-16 as a favorite over the last 20 games.
Another interesting tidbit today for Atlanta: backup punter today. So maybe that can skew field position and give Arizona a short field.
Yeah, I like Arizona +4. I'm on them in this game. I'm a little concerned with the lack of competition they faced in the secondary, but I still think Patrick Peterson is a Pro Bowler. Matthews a Pro Bowler. I think they're going to be fine. I think Carson Palmer will be able to move the football. David Johnson needs to get going again. Should be able to today. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. Like I said, until the Atlanta Falcons can win 4 or 5 in a row as a favorite and cover, okay. But I'm just not interested as a favorite. I'm just not.
Yeah, it's funny. I do. I still kind of like over in this game. You look at Atlanta scoring 32 points per game, and the offense is ranked 3rd in the league. Matt Ryan's just, finally kind of coming into his own, I guess you could say, this year. Having his best season to date, obviously. You talk about the pass defense for Arizona. I'm not, like you said, they haven't played anyone up to Atlanta standards. Atlanta doesn't cover, at home with a reasonable number. This game's tough to me because I want to go over. I'll side with Atlanta, I'll side with Arizona for the sake of the podcast. I just, the numbers ATS regarding Atlanta can't be overlooked, and I think Arizona offensively should be able to get it going. God, they have to rely on David Johnson. You need to feed him the ball. Get him the ball out of the backfield on swing routes and screens and that kind of stuff. You have to get the ball in his hands. Larry Fitzgerald's obviously playing today, so they have some playmakers there. Carson Palmer if Carson Palmer doesn't hurt them, doesn't fumble, doesn't throw dumb interceptions, they'll be fine.
Here's the number you need to know in this game. Arizona defensively give up 19 points a game. Atlanta 29.
You think you take the better defense.
And Arizona giving up a league best 287 yards a game. That's better than the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. Arizona defensively. So, listen, I'm just not interested in Atlanta as a favorite. I've said it week after week. When they're a dog, when they're a 6-point underdog against the Seahawks, I'm interested. As a 4-point favorite, I'm not. Mm-hmm. So I go Cardinals +4 in this one. Dolphins -7.5 against the 49ers in the shit bowl of the day.
Miami's actually won 5 in a row, so
44.5 on
pretty well.
44.5 on the total. San Francisco 1-9. Chip Kelly on the chopping block. I mean, after 1 year,
it's a joke, dude. They rank in the bottom 5. I believe in the bottom 5 in offense and defense.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
They're a joke.
And they kind of remind you a little bit of Oregon, like the way they are this year.
Yeah.
Just really pathetic. San Francisco's also 2-8 against the spread. So they're not winning games. They're not covering either. They're just bad. Ryan, I was blown away by this number. In 4 games on the road this year, take a guess how many points they're giving up on the road per game.
The Niners?
Yeah.
It's staggering. I know they've
great.
given up. Like,
it's a college number.
In Atlanta or in Arizona, they gave up like into the 40s.
They're giving up 30.
I was going to guess 29.
38 points a
38,
game.
wow.
In 4 games on the road.
Yep.
This is an NFL team through 12 games. You're giving up 38 points a game on the road. That's unbelievable. Miami's played well at home this year, 4-1. One concern, though, their offensive line, a lot of issues right now, Miami. Brandon Albert, Laramie Tunsil, and Mike Pouncey all hobbled.
Yep. Pouncey and Albert sound like they're going to be out. Sounds like Tunsil's going to give it a go.
Well, that's good, at least. They need...
No, here we go. Just in, actually, beat writer for the Miami Dolphins. Tunsil, Pouncey, and Albert all out today.
Oof. That's tough because Ajayi leads the NFL with yards per carry, 5.6 yards per carry. Ajayi, 28 carries of 10 yards or more. He has been an animal, that kid.
Yep.
He was good at Boise. I liked him at Boise. He's been good in the NFL. But with all those people out, and that's concerning to me.
And when these offensive linemen, early in the year they weren't playing, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they weren't winning games.
They are facing the worst rush defense in the NFL.
And that's what kind of counterbalances things here.
But you look at depth. I mean, they could have some real problems today on the offensive line. If someone gets injured, I mean, what do you do?
Yep.
Tannehill, though, last 5 games, 6 touchdowns. So he's been able to move the ball. I think, I don't know, man. I'll go Dolphins just because I think there's a lot of positives that outweigh negatives. But watch that offensive line. I mean, that offensive line could struggle today.
That's what concerns me.
But I'm not betting this.
Like I said, early in the year when their offensive line was kind of banged up, I mean, those were the games that they were losing. And now that ever since their offensive line has kind of come together and has gelled over the last few weeks, notice they've put a 5-game winning streak together. I mean, it's no coincidence that when you have a good offensive line, you win games. Look at the Cowboys. I mean, that's all you really have to kind of look at. And I think it does help, though, that they're playing the Niners. If they were playing a team that was like middle of the pack, the top 10 in rush defense, yes, that's a glaring weakness. But playing the Niners, I think they should at least still be able to have some success. And Tannehill has kind of come along the last couple weeks, getting some help from his playmakers on the outside and such. So I'll lean Miami, but this is a game where this could be a patented letdown. But I just think the Niners are so piss poor that. On the road and over this 9-game losing streak, Jeff, you touched on, they won week 1 against the Rams on Monday Night Football. They've lost 9 in a row. You talk about points per game they've given up on the road. How about just points per game on this 9-game losing streak overall? 35 points per game they're giving up. So, I mean, it's no coincidence that where Chip Kelly goes, they don't play defense. I mean, let's just talk about that.
Because he doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly, and it's pathetic.
But yeah, I would think the Dolphins. Can the Dolphins win by double digits for once? I mean, they always seem to let teams hang around. I mean, every time I bet on them, it's like they're a 4-point favorite, and it's a 7-point game the whole game.
Remember last week?
Yeah, I mean, there's always something.
They punted or turned the ball over on every drive until their last 2 drives, and they go touchdown, and win.
Yeah,
with like 20 seconds left to go.
They had no business winning that game against St. Louis or whatever.
LA,
but whatever.
It's fine.
But yeah, I'll go Dolphins with bated breath. Watch the offensive line today. That's going to be big. If they can play well, though, somehow, like if you can get like just one good game out of them, they should roll in this one.
The big thing, too, that we didn't talk about is defensively, they've been pretty good and they've been getting better each week with this on this win streak. So they don't stop the run particularly well, so maybe Kaepernick gets loose, but I don't know. Well, you're right, though. This is another game that I just have zero interest in.
Yep. But we'll go Dolphins minus 7.5 for the sake of the show. 1 o'clock Eastern. Saints minus 7.5 against the Rams. Over under 46. St. Louis. The Rams. Sorry. Worst offense in the NFL.
Yes.
14.9 points a game. Over the last 3 games, the Rams 9.7 points per game. I mean, they're having issues. I mean, Jared Goff came in last week. They didn't allow him to do too much.
You talk about head coaches. Jeff Fisher's another one that's like.
How does he?
I think he's like 4 or 5 wins or losses away from having the most losses as a head coach in history.
And he's 8-8 every year.
And he gets a job every year.
Yeah, I don't get it. I guess he's a coach for the players. They like him, but X and O, he's not.
He don't
really
win. He doesn't win.
Yeah. Saints 31 points a game at home this year. 450 yards a game. I mean, at the Dome, they're really good. Problem is, they don't play a lot of defense. They have gotten a little better, though, recently. I guess if Goff's going to have a good game, you would guess it'd be today. But it's hard to back the Rams. I mean, Todd Gurley has been an absolute milk carton all year. I mean, you haven't seen him at all play well. I mean, has Todd Gurley had a good game this year? I mean, really?
No, Todd Gurley.
He's been lost.
Yeah, he's been even towards the second half of last season. Ever since that, he's just kind of gone downhill.
You know, I think this is a decent matchup for the Rams or for the Saints. I think they'll be able to I don't think you have to be elite today defensively. I just don't know that Goff's ready to play in the NFL. He doesn't have a ton of weapons around him. This is a hard game. Just because I like the Saints offensively, but defensively, they can make anyone look good. I feel like if Goff's going to have a good game, it might be today. Maybe you want to look Rams team total over for some reason. I don't know why, but this is tough. I'll go Saints just because I have to give a pick, but this would be another one where if I didn't have to pick this game, I would not.
I don't want anything to do with the Rams right now. I mean, what they did last week's embarrassing. I mean, you pretty much had that game, and you were stifling defensively against Miami, and you forced a punt on every possession besides a turnover on downs up until the last 2 drives, and you fall apart at home, and you don't get a win. That's the kind of game that can really kind of just send a season kind of spiraling out of control where a team loses 4 out of their next 5 or 5 in a row or whatever. Now you got to go to the Superdome where, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, Saints played last Thursday, right, against the Panthers. So they've had a few extra days now to prepare, obviously. I like the Saints here. They've kind of been mediocre the last couple weeks offensively, not getting out of the 20s, which is kind of uncommon for them. They faced the Broncos, lost a heartbreaker, then against Carolina on the road on Thursday night, in a spot where I thought they should have been able to score some points. So, defensively, the Rams are solid, definitely solid. On the road, though, I like backing L.A. at home, the Rams at home, but on the road, I just really have no interest here. Interesting little tidbit, too. They're benching their starting tackle today. Not sure why. They're starting left tackle. Jared Goff's blind side. Robinson is going to be benched and not active at all today. So that's another kind of, subtraction for
LA,
for the Rams. So
10 points or fewer in the last 4 games.
There you go. And I know the Saints have been, bad defensively, but I'm gonna go with them here. Mark Ingram's gonna play today. I think that obviously helps. Can get a running game established, not have to have Drew Brees throw the ball 60 times. So I'll go the Saints here.
Giants minus 6.5 or 7 against the Browns. Over under 44. Browns are 0-11.
They are.
They have not won a game this year.
No.
And they have a real possibility of not winning a game this year. It's funny. I had to run out this morning to grab something, and I was listening to this Fantasy Focus thing they have on.
Okay.
Because around here, I want to point out, the radio is terrible. Mm-hmm. It's ESPN radio, and it's like real ESPN radio. They don't put any local programming. It's all NFL, ESPN stuff. And they're talking about Eric Carabell. He's an Eagle fan. And he was talking about how he thinks the Browns have a real shot to win today.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it was just because he's an Eagles fan. He wants to see the Giants lose. But on what fucking planet do you people live in? The Browns are never worth your money, ever. And if you keep betting on the Browns, you're going to keep fucking losing. There are a couple guys on Twitter that continue to bet the Browns. You know who you are.
Yeah, we say it every week.
And you lose every week. At what point are you going to wake up and say, you know what? I'm just not going to bet this team anymore.
You're right.
And if they win, they're just hanging on to the fact they can be the guy that called the Browns win. They're not even covering. The Browns are 2-9 overall against the spread.
Yep.
They've covered 2 times in 11 games this year. They have not covered at home. They're 0-5 ATS. Josh McCown's going to play. I guess he gives you the best chance to win, but they still suck defensively. They are the worst overall defense in the NFL, last in total defense. Giants, offense has been better, 24 points a game. Eli Manning's moving the football. And Odell Beckham, Ryan, since 2014, 31 touchdowns, the most in the NFL. Dominating player. Should have a field day today. Last 3 games for the Browns, it doesn't get any easier. Last 3 games, Browns, 8.7 points a game, giving up 29. Not going to win a lot of games. You're telling me I can get the Giants under a touchdown here? I'm in.
It's the way I would lean.
I mean, and again, the Browns have not covered. So this isn't like a secret thing that maybe the Browns, they stink. They're not any good.
It's the same song and dance we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Either you bet against the Browns or you don't involve yourself really at all. And that's, shit
is what color, right?
Yeah, right, it's brown. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Right.
And it's, regardless, depending on what you eat, of course. But
it's usually brown.
No, I'm kidding. I know, yes. But
I don't know what the hell you're eating.
Browns are just not a good football team, and the Giants are playing good football right now, and it's, I've said to where I kind of wonder how the Giants are 7-3. If you look at their numbers, it's kind of interesting, and you think this team would be 5-5 somewhere along those lines. But you credit them for doing what they can and getting some wins. They looked terrible in the first half last week at home against the Bears, and then they come back in the second half and just absolutely own the second half and pull away late in that game. So yeah. I like the Giants here, and that's the way I would go. I would not bet on the Browns. Obviously it's as an opposing team when you face the Browns late in the season like this, you're still a little concerned, and I think as a fan I would be a little concerned just because this is a team that plays desperate every week. They don't give a shit. This is the kind of team that that'll fake punt from their own 40 or go for it on fourth down twice or 3 times in this game. So that kind of worries you a little bit, but they're just not good. I mean, really, they're just not a good football team. So
yeah, 100%.
And the Giants got some. I mean, the Giants are really playing for some things here. I mean, this is a team that's 7-3. If they lose this game today, the teams that are behind them in the wild card can gain on them another game, and then things start to get really tight. This is a game in November against the worst team in football. You need to win and not fuck around with. So,
right, 100% agreed. Can't have a after effect hangover here from Thanksgiving for the Giants. This one at home or no? It's in
It's in Cleveland. Tyrann Mathieu, too, active today for the Falcons. I was waiting to see that when we were doing our breakdown, but I didn't see it. So that's another kind of boost up for Arizona.
Let's move to the 4 o'clock game. So we agree. Browns easy. Easy fade here.
Yes.
405 Seahawks -6 against the Bucks. Over/under is 45. Bucks surprisingly are 5-5, if you can believe that. They're off a nice win in Kansas City.
That was pretty
impressive.
Yeah, very.
Kansas City, though, made some mistakes. Alex Smith makes a poor decision and throws an interception in the end zone. That hurts. Game was never really in doubt after that for the Bucks. Seattle beats Philly in Seattle. Never had much problem there. Really playing well, the Seahawks. 7-2. Their offense is starting to find a groove. Last 3 games, 29 points a game for the Seattle Seahawks. Doug Baldwin, Jimmy Graham, Tom Rawls, Procise, all playing well. And Russell Wilson seeing the field better. He's been able to elude defenders. Look, their offensive line wasn't great last week, but it played well. Eagles didn't have a sack. Things are going good for Russell Wilson. Just 2 interceptions this year. 2.
Mm-hmm.
Very precise. Defense has been dominant as always. And the Bucs are just 1-4 at home this year against the spread. I know we always want to kind of talk about the Seahawks. Well, they're not the same team away from Seattle, but I'm not really interested in getting in the way right now of Seattle. I mean, I'm just not. I don't know that the Bucs are going to be able to, kind of get past that defense. Seattle's much better on defense than Kansas City is. Winston still is a guy that makes mistakes. Seems like he's good for an interception or 2 every week. He has played well though, but I think the Seahawks are just a tick or 2 better. I'm going to go Seattle here.
Yeah, I'd go Seattle, too. A lot of people making a big deal about Earl Thomas is not going to play today. This will be his first game in his career that he will miss. I mean, that's a big loss, but I think that other than Mike Williams, they don't. The Bucs don't have anyone that's going to really kind of bother me, and you got to expect, Sherman to. I know he doesn't shadow the best receiver, but he'll be on Mike Evans enough to where I think that'll kind of neutralize that some. Tampa comes into this game where, and I'm waiting and I'm looking and I'm trying to find in the midst of doing the show and listening and looking at beat writers to see if Tampa it's a possibility that they could be without two of their three starting cornerbacks today. So that kind of worries me some with Werner and Brent Grimes may not be good to go there, but they were both listed as questionable. So if that's something someone can get for us, that would be fantastic. I haven't seen anything yet, but obviously if those two cannot go, the way Seattle is playing offensively, and even if those two can go, they're not going to be 100%, obviously. And the way Russell Wilson has played, it's clear he's healthy now. And in the beginning of the year when they struggled and were struggling offensively, it's because he was hurt and it didn't give you the mobility effect that he has given that team in the last few weeks. So I like Seattle here. Seattle really starting to click on all cylinders. And as we sit now in the last week in November, I think a Seattle-Dallas NFC Championship game would be really kind of fun and really exciting. And if it gets to that point, that would be obviously fantastic. But Seattle's playing really good football right now. So
Brent Grimes full go on Friday at practice. He should be in there.
Okay.
Werner. All indications are he'll play as well, so
okay.
We'll see. But Seattle's just kind of
Yep.
Playing really
Tampa
well.
1-4 at home too this year. So 4 out of their 5 wins have come on the road.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. I mean, I'm just not interested in getting in the way of Seattle. 425 Raiders -3 at the Panthers, 49.5 on a total. David Carr 20 touchdowns this year. Derek Carr, sorry.
Derek.
20 touchdowns this year. Raiders are playing well. I mean, really, they have. They've been good all year. They're 7-3 against the spread, so they're covering numbers as well. Carolina, they failed to cover on the road this year. Both defenses struggling, though. I mean, I don't think anyone will disagree that the Panthers struggle defensively, particularly through the air. Oakland as well. They just kind of want to outscore you. That's kind of their goal. No Luke Kuechly. He's out, and that's going to present a problem, I think, for the Carolina Panthers. They've kind of been a bend but don't break defense lately. He plays every play of the game. That's a really big loss for them and really makes them a bad defense at this point. He kind of held them together. Yeah, I agree, Kid B. I'm going over here. This is my one over play of the day. I think both these offenses will be high-flying. I think you see a lot of back and forth, a lot of possessions. I think this is like a 34-28 type of game. I think this one gets easily over the posted total, 49.5. I don't see any pullback, really, in defense. I think both these defenses are going to get lit up. Do you see any letdown from these defenses that they're going to come to play today? I don't.
Yeah, this should kind of be one of those kind of a game that
get your guns ready, Ron. It's going to be a shootout.
Cam Newton kind of always kind of produced last year in that run to the Super Bowl where he kind of does everything. And I think he needs to get back to that, and I think he will today with his legs and extending drives, running on third down and that kind of stuff. And and against this Raiders defense, they should be able to have success because this Raiders defense, while they are 8-2 on the year, the defense is obviously their soft spot for sure. And yeah, a shootout should be in effect here. No Luke Kuechly. Obviously, he's the heart and soul. He's the leader. He calls out the plays. So that's an enormous loss. Obviously, that goes without saying. But Raiders offensively have been fantastic all year. I can't expect that to slow down today at home. And Carolina, look, they should be able to score. They should be able to run the ball. They should be able to throw the ball downfield. Maybe get Ted Ginn on some deep shots downfield. Get Funchess involved, and obviously the tight end Greg Olsen, who seems to be Cam Newton's favorite receiver. Get him going early. So yeah, points should be aplenty here. This should be a really big shootout here.
Yeah, I like I said, 34-28. 35-31. I think this one gets way over. But Ryan, actually, Adam Schefter is reporting. Let me get this up. Adam Schefter is reporting the Browns are actually going to start Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite today.
Oh, really?
He's actually going to start today.
Wow.
Their 16th quarterback they're going to start this year.
Unbelievable.
Impressive. Never thought I'd see the day. 425. That was funny, wasn't it?
How much more back to throw to those mountains?
Patriots -7 against the Jets. I forgot to write the over-under down for this game for some reason.
47.
47, there you go. Rob Gronkowski is doubtful. Not going to play today, but Bennett's in.
I saw a report this morning, Jeff, actually on the contrary, that Gronk is in.
Okay.
So
either way, that's a positive if you like New England. New England 8-2 against the spread this year. They've covered all 5 games on the road. Jets are 1-5 as a dog this year, and Jets have issues against the pass. This is not your shutdown Jets defense we've been accustomed to. Ryan, 3 games this year where the Jets have scored 6 points or fewer, most in the NFL. I'm not interested in fading New England. I'm not going to do it today. I'm probably not going to do it for the rest of the year or my life.
Or their life. I was going to say, I won't do it ever again.
Until Tom Brady leaves, I'm not one to bet against New England. I've made the story, and I've told the story. Years ago, I was told by a high-end bettor and figure in the underworld, bet on the New England Patriots until you can't anymore.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep doing it today.
They cover every week, and that's pretty much the basis of it. The gang's all here, and they're expected to play, as Adam Schefter reports, Brady, Gronkowski, Bennett, Edelman, Chris Hogan. They're all in there.
Hearing that's got to be deflating for the New York Jets.
The Jets are, look, they're 3-7. They're not a good football team. Losing to, they're coming off their bye. They're coming off a disgusting loss to the Rams and a 6-9 loss to the Dolphins before that. Squeaked out a game against Cleveland, for Christ's sakes. So for me, I'm gonna go New England here. They're kind of rolling on all cylinders, and some people talk about the quote unquote poorest defense, but I don't think they should have much trouble today against a Jets team that Matt Forte. Okay, I mean he gives you something, but Decker's been out, and Onwenu, he's been banged up. Brandon Marshall, but I just don't see any positive here for the Jets. Obviously, this is their biggest game of the year. They always get up at home for New England, but New England's kind of a freight train. So
yeah, I'll keep going with New England here and lay the number. Last one, 8:30 Eastern. You got the Denver Broncos -3.5 against Kansas City Chiefs. Over under 38.5. Denver 4-1 against the spread at home. Off a bye, Ryan, since 1992. The Denver Broncos 18-4 against the spread. Pretty good. Kansas City just can't move the ball. I'm going to be honest. I think this is one of the worst offenses in the NFL. I mean, I wonder how they move the football on a given week. I really wonder how they score. They have no receivers. Their quarterback fucking sucks. He can't move the goddamn ball. Their running backs have been injured. I wonder how they move the ball every week. Like, I just don't get it. Over the last 3 games, total yards, 276 on average. It's not very good. Aqib Talib's back. It's a good grab for Denver in the secondary. And you look at on defense for the Chiefs, a lot of injuries. Marcus Peters, Dontari Poe, Derek Johnson, D. Ford, all injured.
Yep.
I love Denver tonight. I think they roll.
Chiefs have won 7 straight AFC West games, going back a few years. I don't think that streak continues tonight. Chiefs just kind of in a bad way right now. The only thing that could go their way and possibly keep this game close or give them a chance to win is if they commit to running the football and they have success. Because Denver, the one thing that their defense doesn't do particularly well is stop the run. They're giving up about 125 rushing yards per game. So, but Kansas City doesn't have that kind of main back that you feel like you can kind of lean on for 4 quarters and kind of feed the ball 30 times a game with West and Charkandrick West. What a tough name for me to say, but
Charkandrick.
Yeah, Charkandrick. That's an interesting name, but I'm just not. I can't back the Chiefs. I can't do it. I really cannot. And I'm not a big fan of backing the Broncos, but when you do, things seem to work out. Just because with Trevor Siemian, he's been very lackluster this year, but they're 7-3, and they find ways to win. And they're starting to get healthy. Ward's back, and Derek Wolfe is back, and Talib's back, like you mentioned. So I'll go Denver, Jeff. I will go Denver.
Yeah. If you missed the plays, I will recap at the end of the show. But for the next 10 minutes or so, we'll recap what went on in college football yesterday. Ryan, Michigan-Ohio State was the most watched college football game since 2006 on ABC.
Which was Michigan-Ohio State.
Right. So,
which this game might have went past it, Jeff. If you remember, that game in 2006 was a primetime game. This game was a noon start, so...
many think Ohio State is now a shoo-in to get to the College Football Playoff, which, in the history of this, a team has never qualified for the Final Four without winning its conference, let alone its division. So if you think they're a shoo-in, I would probably slow your roll a little bit.
I think they'll get in.
Yeah, but again, I'm not sure that they're a guarantee. They're not Alabama right now. They're not guaranteed.
Yeah, but I mean, they only have one loss, and they have a couple losses. They beat Wisconsin, and beat Michigan, beat Oklahoma on the road. So,
but the team in front of them, they did beat. Penn State did beat them, and they're going to get another rematch. Look, if Penn State could beat Ohio State again, they're not going in.
How's that going to happen?
Or don't they play each other?
No.
Who doesn't Penn State in the final?
Yes, against Wisconsin. Penn State.
Oh, that's right.
Penn State.
That's right.
Penn State,
That
Michigan,
is so
Ohio State are all
by
the
the way,
same
I want to point that out. That Big Ten West is such a fucking joke.
It's pathetic.
I mean, it's so pathetic. And that's my issue with these conference champions. And I'm so confused. I actually thought, why did I even think that? The conference champions.
Dude,
are
the
such
Big Ten
fucking
East has
joke.
Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan State.
Real top heavy.
I mean,
Bullshit.
It's crazy. Why not put two of them over on the other side?
Right. Thank you.
I mean, really, when
will Wisconsin go away? I mean, I'm sick of watching.
They won't go away because
Jesus.
They look at the division they're in.
They're so brutal. I'm so sick of watching Wisconsin. Like, I don't want to watch that game. I have no interest in that game. I'm so sick of Wisconsin. According to the College Football Playoff Committee's own guidelines, the very first point considered in their criteria is to place an emphasis on winning conference championships. So basically, this is their points and how they rank teams.
Yeah.
Championships won, strength of schedule, head-to-head competition, comparative outcomes of common opponents. So should Penn State beat Wisconsin, it would capture both the division and conference championships over Ohio State, giving 2 points of the area of emphasis over Ohio State. Look, I know they beat Oklahoma, and again, if Oklahoma State can beat Oklahoma, is that win that good a win, really? That would be 3 losses for Oklahoma.
My thing with the College Football Playoff, Jeff, is the College Football Playoff, when this was established, was to get the top 4 teams in college football to play. And I don't think that if you put Penn State in, I don't think Penn State is one of the top 4 teams in college football.
I also don't think Ohio State is
I don't
either.
think Wisconsin would be. And I just think it's a flawed system. Obviously, you have to go by schedule and what happened through the season and everything. But at the same time, it's like, let's try to get the top 4 teams to play because, I mean, if Penn State gets into the College Football Playoff, they are going to get fucking rolled by whoever they
It's a shame that Michigan lost this game because I actually thought Michigan was the better team in that game. They played better on all facets, really. And it's a shame that, the guy that we were so concerned about all week, Wilton Speight, playing, obviously he made a difference for Michigan. But at the end of the day, he was also the protagonist and why they lost the game. Costly mistakes, throughout the game. I know Michigan fans want to blame the referees, and while they were not good, Wilton Speight still made too many mistakes. And look, Ohio State just did what they needed to do. Look, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I like the point you made yesterday when we were watching the game. I thought overtime, and I think you made a good point after the fact, Ohio State benefited more in overtime. First of all, and I will make this case, and I know it's not really a case to make, I'm taking the ball first in overtime every time. I want to set the tone, go down and score, and then put the pressure on my opponent. I don't understand the love affair with knowing what you have to do. It's stupid. Go down and score. Get the fucking 7, put it in the end zone, put your pressure on the other team. Because in that case, in that spot, I think if Michigan goes down and scores, now you hang your hat on your defense, the thing that's got you there. Also, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have went for 2 at the end of the game.
Look, I would have.
I mean, really.
As soon as they scored, as soon as they scored on 4th down, Michigan scores on 4th down. Spade finds Darbo in the back of the end zone. Great catch by Darbo. Wilton Spade immediately looks to Harbaugh on the sideline and holds up 2 fingers and says,
Yep.
let's fucking go for the win.
Yep.
Because I think they realize, look, the more this game plays out and gets into a double,
it's going to get harder.
It's going to get more difficult to win. This is not the situation in the game and this that we're meant to win. So if they would have went for 2 there, get it or not, I would have been fine with the decision.
Right.
I really would have been fine with the decision. And I did say too at the beginning of the overtime, I said, look, this sucks because I think overtime benefits Ohio State more. But it shouldn't have got to that point. If they don't fumble at the 1-yard line, there's 7 points that got taken off the ball. And if Wilton Spate doesn't throw 2 interceptions inside of their own 20, the game's not even close.
Correct.
So, I mean, there is nobody out there, and if you truly believe the better team won that game yesterday, I think you're a little asinine. I think you're blinded. And look, it is what it is. They lost. Their season's done, Michigan. But those are the games that I hate because like I said, I was talking to either you or one of my other friends. Last year, Ohio State killed Michigan. I mean, they beat them in every facet. They kicked their ass. And I tip my hat to Ohio State. You're the better team. You won. Beautiful. This year, I didn't think it was the case. And those are the games that are the toughest to deal with. And Ohio State going forward, man, they're a flawed team. They're a flaw.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a flawed team. Look, they're 11-1, and they beat Oklahoma, and they beat Michigan, they beat Wisconsin. Credit to them, but I'm not sure this is a team capable of winning a national championship. But
me either. And I don't think the better team won this. I think Michigan is the better team.
And that's what hurts, and that's what's hard to swallow.
And right now, like if you said to me, and when I give my at the end of this little breakdown, when I give my top 4 teams. I'm going to tell you who I think the top 4 teams are right now, regardless of what happened yesterday. Right. Regardless,
and that's
the most talented team.
And that's how I wish it could be, where the top 4 teams are able to get it. Because if it's me, and I'll say it right now, I don't even have to wait. If it's me, I go Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan. That would be my top 4. I think that would be my top 4.
Okay.
So,
couple coaching moves. Charlie Strong is officially out at Texas.
He is.
Which we could say that. We said that about 8 times.
Yeah, what an interesting day yesterday with the coaching carousel yesterday.
Tom Herman going to Texas, I think he'll be just fine at Texas. Tom Herman is, by the way, I don't know. I thought it was a little classist of him to act the way he did to that reporter on Friday. I get you're trying to prepare your team, but, I mean, don't visually deny you're not. I mean, we all know you're doing it.
What's he going to say, yes?
Yeah, well, kind of a cagey business, college football, but... and then I'm hearing reports that PJ Fleck's interested in going to Purdue. I'm not really sure why you want to do that.
Yeah.
Ed Orgeron going to stay in LSU. Okay. Listen, I talked about it all year, and I made the case to you that I thought, look, from an X&O standpoint, he's not the best coach in the world. Not even in the top 50, probably. But from a standpoint of what a coach is, like to me, a manager, a coach, is someone that will go to bat for you, will teach you about goals in life, personal stuff. I think Ed Orgeron is perfect for that program. Maybe he can rescue them.
Look,
I mean, really, he is LSU. He is Louisiana. That's who he is. I know you.
Only thing I'll say quick, and I'll let you get back, is it's imperative that the coordinators that he hires are home run hires.
Correct.
That's and then you can continue.
I agree.
But to me, that's the focal point right now.
Because let's be honest, in college football, there's a lot of teams that have done well for a lot of years with not like Bill Snyder. How much direction do you think he really has in the program?
Well, sure.
I mean, he's just kind of a face. Joe Paterno late in his time. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's the face. He's the guy that talks to the media and people. He's a homegrown guy, and I think he will fit there. And he'll do a lot of recruiting. And kids will love. I'll tell you right now, if I was a kid playing football, I'd love to play for him. He's a guy that he's going to motivate.
Look, not saying it's going to happen. I'm not sure why he would want to leave there, but it's obviously been reported, and I don't like Paul Feinbaum, but he's an SEC guy that has a lot of connects, and he said it on game day this morning before anyone that I heard, that once the news broke about Orgeron, he said the number one priority on the list for Ed Orgeron right now is going out and trying to get Lane Kiffin, because they have a connection. They are really close friends. Not saying Lane Kiffin would leave Alabama. Not sure why he'd want to. He hasn't made there, but he has a tie to Ed Orgeron, and if Orgeron could pry him away from Bama, their biggest rival as of right now over the last decade or so, that would be a huge, huge home run. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see what Orgeron gets on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So, but it is what it is. To me, this, and the only thing I'll say about it feels. To me, it kind of has that like Brady Hoke feel when they hired Brady Hoke, who was like a homegrown guy. He's a Michigan man. But I feel like he was in over his head, and it turned out to be that way. We'll see with Orgeron if that's how it pans out. So good luck to him, because look, I like Ed Orgeron. I think he's great for college football.
Yeah. You have to imagine Mark Helfrich will be next to the unemployment line, you would imagine.
There was reports this morning, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be gone. And after a 56-7 loss against the rivalry, Clemson, South Carolina multiple players, accused Clemson opponents of directing racial slurs at them after the game. They called, they used the N-word, all sorts of things. Also, Dabo Swinney denied a handshake from Will Muschamp. Definitely some bad blood in that.
Wait, so Muschamp went to shake his hand and Dabo
I believe
said
so,
no?
yes.
Well, that's real lame. If you
I believe so.
but
Never thought I would hear so many racial slurs in my life. Classist is not a strong enough word to describe the actions. Reported by Terry Guger, a player for South Carolina.
So, I'm confused. Are the South Carolina players saying Clemson players said
No,
racial
I
slurs
believe
or
fans and things like that.
Gotcha.
Racism still alive in Clemson. I see
Gotcha.
classist SOBs still calling people the N-word is crazy. Tensions were also high. Dabo Swinney snubbed Muschamp at a handshake at midfield. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff going on in that rivalry, but just kind of ends the season for South Carolina that is forgettable. Again, a tough year for the Gamecocks. I mean,
Yep.
but,
Very tough.
As far as the winners and losers of this weekend, I would say the winners were Western Michigan. They win again. All they got to do is beat Ohio, and they are in. Look, I know you can – listen, I'm going to tell you that I don't think what Navy's been doing has been impressive. I mean, you're putting 70 points up like it's your day job. That Navy offense is – if you can find a more dominating offense, Ryan,
They're clicking
I'd
right
now.
to
hear it.
They punted twice in the month of November.
Correct. Just unbelievable. Don't count out the Temple Owls as well. They're still alive. Look, if Western Michigan loses, that's going to be interesting because there's going to be a lot of teams vying for that. Boise State's gone. They're gone. Temple, Navy, there's some availability there for some of those AAC teams. Houston,
Who's Western Michigan play?
Ohio.
They ain't losing.
They shouldn't lose. Ohio has played better. We'll break that down later in the week. The biggest winners yesterday, though, Vanderbilt. Good win for Derek Mason. That's a huge win for that program. They're going bowling, Ryan, in his third year.
They are.
That's big.
That's great.
And the loser yesterday for me, Tennessee's coach.
Butch Jones.
You're down 11 with 3 minutes to go. You're at the 12-yard line, I think. It's 4th and 4. You go for it. What sense does that make? Yeah. And you're short of the sticks by 2 yards and you lose the game. Why not kick the field goal and take your chances?
Look, this was a Tennessee
what
team
are you doing?
and I think they kind of showed last night, especially that, look, they're just not ready to compete. This is a team that you and I question why so many people were high on and why they started the year inside the top 10. And they're definitely a loser. Winner for me yesterday has got to be Colorado. The Buffaloes, where this team was, 2-3 years ago, where over the last 4 or 5 years, they had won only 2 games in conference, something like that. I forget the exact number. But now they're playing for a conference championship. And it really, if they can knock off Washington,
they're not going to be.
What a bounce back it could be for Washington or for Colorado.
Yeah, Mike McIntyre's done a good job.
They're my big winner because this program was really down in the dumps a few years ago, and this team's going to be they're ranked inside the top 10 now. So they're definitely my winner. My loser, I'm going with Louisville. What they've done the last 2 weeks, they kind of had everything in front of them, knowing that, look, either Ohio State or Michigan was going to lose. Yesterday, Washington went down to USC. They could still lose another game to Colorado. And they really, if they could have beaten Houston and then the wheels really fall off yesterday, at home losing to a Kentucky team that they really have no business losing to, that program and that team, wow. talk about a fall from grace. They will really fall after that loss.
Yeah, losers for me, Michigan is one. I find it kind of concerning that, Wilton Speight just too many costly mistakes. I also find the defenses for Syracuse and Pittsburgh to be absolutely losers. 76-61. That was a college football game.
Yep.
The highest scoring game ever in the ranks.
Yep.
The basketball teams didn't score that many points yesterday. Really disgusting. And then the other losers were the defense for the San Diego State Aztecs and the defenses for the Wyoming Cowboys. It was clear that those two teams had zero interest in playing last night. New Mexico scores 56 against Wyoming. And the San Diego State Aztecs, I thought, was one of the more disgraceful performances of the year. Give up 63 points to Colorado State.
Yep.
The Rams score 63 points.
So it's going to be Wyoming versus San Diego State in that conference championship?
That's
correct.
Right? Correct.
All
right. Definitely a lot of... also, one other thing. What the hell has happened to the Marshall football program?
Yep.
They lose yesterday, Ryan. Did you see the score?
Well, last time I saw it was 28-0. Okay, well, 60-6. Wow.
Marshall has 3-9 this year. That's pretty unbelievable.
Well, look, they obviously exceeded.
But you remember how good they were like a year or two ago?
Yeah, but they exceeded expectations when they had Rakeem Cato and the big running back Johnson,
Tommy Shore,
and Tommy Shore. I mean, obviously those were kind of once in a generation, once in a decade players that Marshall was able to have.
By the way,
when they lose them, it's clear what the program is.
The wins today, the wins this year for Marshall: Morgan State, Florida Atlantic, and Middle Tennessee without their starting quarterback. Just pretty unbelievable. Doc Holliday, tough year for them. And with a whimper, Marshall football is not relevant anymore. That'll be it, Ryan. We got conference championships next week.
Yep.
We'll break down those as well. Does Alabama have... does Florida have any chance against Alabama?
No.
We'll just say that.
Florida stinks. Florida's an annoying. I actually talked to one of my best friends, Ken, last night. We kind of just were bullshitting around about the day in sports yesterday, and he actually brought up, he's like, that Florida team, I'm like tired of seeing them constantly in the rankings. He's like, I don't think they're anything special, and I agree with him. Florida, their offense is a joke, man.
Yeah, they are.
How many points they score Saturday, Florida against Alabama? 7? Okay.
Yeah. I think they lose like 42-7.
Jeez.
I think they could.
I don't think Bama will score. They have a solid defense. I don't know that they'll put up 42.
I mean, Tennessee ran all over them.
I hear you.
Listen, Alabama's pretty good.
No, I know they're good. I know.
Let's recap what we're on today. Again, over the last 4 weeks, 28-15 against the spread in every game. $100 better runs up $1,150. 1 o'clock, we like the Houston Texans plus 2.5. We like the Titans -6. We like the Ravens -3. We like the Cardinals +4. We like the Dolphins -7.5. Saints -7.5. Giants -6.5. Seahawks -6. Patriots -7. Over 49.5. Raiders Panthers. And we like the Broncos -3.5. Ryan, one other thing before we go. It's only 12:15. College basketball. 9-2 over the last 11 for me.
Nice work.
I'm rolling in hoops. Yesterday, 2-1 day. Can we just take a look at the basketball games today? I have 2 plays that I've already sent out. The games that I'm on are the Valparaiso and Ball State game, and I'm on the Pepperdine Portland State game. How about that? Jumping out of these tournaments. Couple I looked at, a couple that were close to making the card for me, but didn't. Look, I thought East Tennessee State would be a 3 or 4 point favorite. They're up to 9-point favorites against the UC Irvine Anteaters. Irvine Anteaters without Luke Nelson. East Tennessee State's rolling. I really like East Tennessee State, but laying 9, just not a lot of value there. Should still get the job done, but I think the line value is just gone in that game. I had East Tennessee State yesterday, but against Irvine off Ryan, a game where they scored 37 points against UW Milwaukee. You would hope they would come out and play better. But without Luke Nelson, they really don't have much. East Tennessee State should get the job done, but I think the value is gone. Iowa State Gonzaga, Ryan, this might be the best game of the day in any sport.
Yeah.
Iowa State, a team with Monty Morris and Deontay Burton. This Iowa State team can score, like always. Been pretty good on defense as well. Now they're facing a Gonzaga team who's ranked 11th. Gonzaga, I think, Ryan, this could be one of their stronger teams. I mean, they get Jordan Matthews, Nigel Williams-Goss is healthy, Karnowski down low. The well-coached as always. I want to lean Gonzaga here at 3.5. I think they will get the job done and just kind of in late game, you kind of just pull away and get the job done. But that's going to be a great game there. Dayton, New Mexico. I know Sean Harnish has a big play on that game, so we'll look forward to that. 5-unit play, I believe, in that game. There's some good games out there. So obviously feel free to, come over and take a look at what I'm doing. I am trying to get it done in college basketball, and I've succeeded in doing it. Ryan, what game do you like in college basketball? Anything? You haven't watched much.
There's a couple interesting games. Obviously, the Iowa State Gonzaga game's pretty intriguing.
Will UCLA continue to score?
I think Florida Miami, I think, is interesting just because it's tournament game plus it's an in-state rivalry. Both teams, I believe, 4-1.
Let's give some shine, Ryan. Daquan Newton, South Philadelphia, playing well for the Miami Hurricanes.
The Miami Hurricanes, both team. Miami coming off a loss against Iowa State, so I think that game's a little intriguing, just on my behalf. And then the UCLA Texas A&M game is a game later on tonight that I think is intriguing, very intriguing. UCLA, I mean, they're just scoring the ball at will. So I think this is probably the best UCLA team we've seen in some time.
I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but Sean Harnish and we did a show the day college basketball began, and I told all you people, UCLA is going to be a good basketball team this year. They bring back everyone. They can score. Ryan, you look at some of these scores, 119, 102, 88, 114, 99, and 82. They've scored 82 points or more in every game this year. They're beating good teams. They beat Long Beach State, who, look, I know they've had a tough schedule, but Long Beach is a pretty good opponent. Nebraska, they won pretty easily against. It'll be interesting to see, though. Texas A&M, very good defensive team. If UCLA can score on Texas A&M, they're really a team to watch out for going forward here. This, that could be a great game, Kentucky UCLA here in a couple weeks. So, Florida Miami would be a good one. Florida kind of flying under the radar, playing some pretty good defense. Miami, under Jim Larinaga, they're always going to be a pretty good side as well. So good college basketball today for sure, if you're not an NBA guy. So everyone have a great day. Appreciate everyone listening. Ryan, do you have any plans today? Are you going to just hang out?
Do I have any plans? Nah, I'll probably just watch NFL and then Sunday dinner over at the parents.
What are they making?
That's the staple for my Sundays. No idea.
Ryan, you are a guy, I have to admit, you love your family. You're always around your family. You spend a lot of time over there. That's nice. Good for you. I can't say the same. I try to go to my parents as much as I can, but, sometimes I just got to fly away from the nest, if you will. Yeah. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you back tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll be back with our daily show where we break down everything in college basketball, and then we'll break down a little Monday Night Football as well, Ryan.
Yeah,
you got Eagles, Packers in Philadelphia. Going to be a big game.
That's a huge game, actually.
Sure.
And wild card implications. That's a really big game in the NFC tomorrow.
Yep, and we'll break that down as well. We will have a pick on the game. Great show, guys. Always good to have Sean's input. Yeah, Sean was readily available. He has a 5-unit play in college basketball. I'll just say this, and I know I'm not sure my opinion means a lot. I like the play he has today. I really like it. Okay. And I co-sign the play. So if it means anything, Sean, I like your play today. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you back Monday on the Big Men Campus. Enjoy the NFL day and everything else in the world of sports. Bye-bye.